Hello, it's time for another new book talk here at Fairhope Public Library. Today we're going to be talking about the new teen books, y'all. Look at all these books. We have so many new teen books. Melissa and I are just going to talk about a couple right now today, but we're so excited for you to come in and see these. These are going to be on display in the teen section starting next week, so definitely come on by. But to start out, let me tell you about Battle of the Bands. This is something that you've seen in movies and stuff, like there's a whole bunch of, amateur or wanting to be professional bands, and they show up one night and they have this big contest about who's going to be the best band. And of course, there's always stories behind all of these things. And usually when we see this kind of thing, there's one band that we're following, or maybe one performer, one musician. This book is a book of short stories that covers all the bands in a high school Battle of the Bands performance. So every single band has a story attached to it. And they all, of course, because these kids are all from the same school, can't really see it there, but this is sort of the playbill. But all of these kids know each other. They're all part of the same classes and everything, but they're all part of all these different bands. It's going to be a great book. So if you like short stories, you like music, definitely come check out Battle of the Bands. There's some great stuff in it.
Okay, so the first book that I'm going to show you is a nonfiction book. It's called This Book Will Help Cool the Climate. That's by Isabel Thomas, and it says that it's 50 ways to cut pollution and protect our planet. It's broken down into easy to read stories. It's got some illustrations in it as well, as you can see here. Open right up to an illustration. You can pick this up and quickly learn easy ways to help combat climate change. So if you're interested in the environment and in helping the planet, check it out.
Okay, so a lot of people have to read The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton at some point in their school career. I think I read about 6th or 7th grade, don't quite remember. Well, now we have a retelling of The Outsiders from the female perspective. So imagine if The Outsiders had been all girls instead of guys. That's what Bad Girls Never Say Die is about. Jennifer Matthew, you might know her from, she's the author of Moxie, and there was it on Netflix? Netflix movie of her book, Moxie. This is going to be a very interesting book for everyone, because even though we are kind of used to strong feminine characters and feminism in general in the year 2022, this is still set in 1964. So these girls are up against it, and that's, when women misbehave, they become the bad girls. So it's going to be a very interesting read. If you're a fan of The Outsiders, you need to come and get this book.
Another nonfiction that we have is actually a collection of poetry. It's called And We Rise by Eric Martin. It's the civil rights movement in poems, so it tells the story of the civil rights movement, but through poetry. You've heard the name Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks, but what about the many other people and events that turned movements or moments of injustice into a movement for change? It's got a lot of really cool poetry as well, like there's graphic poetry, there's some photos, and it basically takes you sort of through a timeline of events. And I think it's going to be really cool. So if you're interested in poetry, check it out. If you're interested in the civil rights movement, check it out. If you just want like a really cool, unique book, look at it.
The last one I'm going to talk about today is a new Enola Holmes book. Nancy Springer has been writing these books for us since I think 2020 was the first Enola Holmes book. Enola Holmes, if you don't know, is the forgotten younger sister of Sherlock and Mycroft Holmes, and she has her own adventures. One of the things she prides herself on is her independence, because if you notice, Enola spelled backwards is alone. Now, Netflix, someone made a movie about this. I'm not sure if it was Netflix, but then Netflix actually picked it up and they're doing a sequel to the movie that's coming out later this year. But this book is a brand new story that is not the story in the movies. This one, Enola gets contacted by a woman who, her twin sister got married to a really rich guy, like a royalty, and now she's gotten a letter that her sister has died, and she just doesn't believe it. She thinks something's going on. No one will help her. So of course Enola is there for her. And as in all the Enola Holmes mysteries, Sherlock is like, you really shouldn't be doing this, but she does it anyway. So come and check out Enola Holmes. The earlier Enola Holmes books are in the juvenile section, but this one has been rated a young adult book, so find it in the teen section.
All right, and my final book is actually going to be a biography. It's called Codename Badass, The True Story of Virginia Hall, Spy, Saboteur, Shiro. I'm actually going to read you the inside cover because nothing else will do this book justice. When James Bond was still in diapers, Virginia Hall was behind enemy lines playing a dangerous game of cat and mouse with Hitler's henchmen. Did this Shiro have second thoughts after a terrible accident left her needing a wooden leg? Please. Virginia Hall was the baddest broad in any room she walked into. When the State Department proved to be a sexist boys' club that wouldn't allow her in, she gave the finger to society's expectations of women and became a spy for the British. This boss lady helped arm and train the French resistance and organized sabotage missions. There was just one problem: the Butcher of Lyon. A notorious Gestapo commander was after her. But hey, Virginia's classmates didn't call her the Fighting Blade for nothing. So how does a girl who was a pirate in the school play, spent her childhood summers milking goats, and rocked it in field hockey end up becoming the Gestapo's most wanted spy? Audacious, irreverent, and fiercely feminist, codename badass for anyone who doesn't take no for an answer.
Love it. I can't wait to read that.
Really cool biography of a World War II spy.
So again, there's a ton of new teen books. Please come by next week in the beginning of March. We'll have them all on display downstairs for you in the teen section. Thanks for listening.
Bye.